Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Overflow Mindset Group. All right. Here looking at the overflow in the stock market as it stands today. We're looking at the daily chart. Again, just to reacclimate you to what we're saying here is we have the 200-day moving average watermark that's showing here. This exponential moving average. We consider price to be underwater when it's below that watermark. And then we have the 50-day moving average exponential. And we look for momentum and which way the momentum is going using that 50. So we got some momentum to the upside based on it turning green right here. And it's sort of playing out right now to continue to go into that green direction, so upward direction. So looking pretty good. Of course, you could always have a pullback and then another push up. But the idea is that there's been some earnings that have come out. So we look for right now the gap up. Who knows what might happen by the end of the morning and the morning hours and that sort of thing. But right now we're looking like it's moving toward the upside. A little more overflow. All right, let's look at AMC. AMC has pulled back to this trend line that we have here. It has been showing that it was above the 50-day moving average, which is a positive sign as far as price is concerned. And we've done some pulling back. We knew that we were kind of overbought here on our RSI indicator, and it's fell down some. So let's see whether AMC can continue to push in an upward direction or not. AMD, we had somewhat of a push up right here, trying to see if it's going to make it up above the water at this point. We will see what happens with AMD. Still a little bit high on the overbought side, so precaution could be that you get more of a pullback before it kind of pushes off. But AMD still looking good as well. Amazon. So Amazon, we see that we're above the 50-day moving average here, right here, and let's move that down a bit so we can see it in the right spot. Okay. And we're seeing price play with that 50-day moving average, and that right now because of earnings, we've had a huge move upward. So looking at Wells coming in there, it should come out of the water, but who knows if this will continue this high tomorrow. But again, we were looking at, for our overflow reading, we're looking at 83% gain on Amazon. Mind you, the market overall does not move that much. But look what Amazon has the potential to do over the next year. So everybody's got their eye on that, looking long term, thinking long term. DraftKings. So DraftKings, it does have a push up here. Let's may have to zoom in on this in order to be able to see this, but it does have a push up here above the 50-day moving average. So we're going to put a up arrow there. And we'll continue to watch that. If DraftKings recovers, how much of a recovery will we see? So based on current price, even if it recovers to here, that would be a 100% gain. So long term, we are really going to be watching this. If it cannot maintain above the 50-day moving average, then we will reevaluate. But if it does maintain above the 50-day moving average, looks like it is sort of leveling out a bit here. That would be incredible. All right, Ford, we've already shown, what its potential is to move up 100%. Again, these are unheard of. So this is going to be an overflow season like none other. And folks will be talking about these same stocks that they talk bad about for the longest, for the last 6-7 months. They're going to start to talk much better about them, and they're going to be praising the markets and everything else and everybody else involved in it. So what we are looking for is to find overflow within this. Overflow for your accounts, overflow for your retirement, overflow for anything that you invest in, overflow for employment and other opportunities, So just look for that overflow to continue. For this one, I would expect a little bit of a pullback maybe before it continues on, because it is a bit over bought here. But it's still above the 50, and we're expecting that to continue on up over time. Let's take a look at GM. GM, same thing, starting to break up. It's just starting to break up, so to the upside. So we'll go ahead and mark that out and keep an eye on that. GM, looking for 100% move. Let me move this up a bit. Let's move to where it is now. So to get back, about 78% move to the upside. All right, Meta. This will be unheard of if Meta recovers. If Meta recovers, you're looking at 162% in Meta if it returns to previous highs. 162%. You got these huge gaps that need to be filled in with some sort of price action to create a fair market. So 162%. So we'll be keeping an eye on this. We got a little bit of a peep up above the 50-day moving average, but not much action in terms of that. But we are starting to level out here at the bottom here. So we'll see if that really is the bottom or not. But as an investment, even if it goes down more, you could buy more. But that is amazing. We'll skip that one. We'll go to Netflix. Netflix. Never count Netflix out. Netflix has a history of rebounding and bouncing back, going higher than ever it's gone before. So we got our signal here on the 50-day moving average back here. We're looking at that movement above the 50-day moving average. We are still underwater as far as the 200-day moving average, but we got this huge gap to fill in and another huge gap right here to fill in. So over time, we are anticipating that the price will go up, for a company like Netflix. So that would be a 300% move if it makes it all the way back. 300%. All right. NIO, looking for the same thing here for NIO. It's giving us some upward movement since here. And we're looking at that right now. We're looking for a break of this trend line to confirm that it is going to continue up. So far, we haven't gotten that. But if it breaks that trend line and it keeps going, again, another huge 300% move. I don't think I'm even showing the whole thing on the screen, but you get the idea. NVIDIA. So I think this might be one of Nancy Pelosi picks, but yeah, looking here, we're starting to see some movement above the 50-day moving average. So let's go ahead and mark that right here, and we're just gonna have that sit there, and that's looking really good. So we'll continue to watch this to see if we're getting some wells that are going to be pushing that up. PayPal. So folks have been jumping in PayPal all the way down to here. Now we know, because it's below the 50-day moving average, that it really isn't the time to jump in, all this time. But now it's starting to show its head above that 50-day moving average. So now is the time to start evaluating whether that is a good investment or not. Of course, do your own due diligence, look into the company, look into what you think the company can do or not do, and determine if that's a good investment for you or not. The potential on a company like PayPal, let's just take a look from today's price. Let's see. So back to all-time high, 248%. I repeat, 248%. Okay, SoFi. SoFi is another one that is very interesting to look at because it is so close to zero. I mean, it's $6, but $6.30, but it's close to zero. Like if this continues to drop, if it drops down to $4, that potential rebound, if it does rebound, would be 500%. If it drops down to $2, the rebound would be 1,100%, 1,150%, according to this. So you really have to kind of look at this and anticipate maybe what it might do. This is the first time it showed itself above the 50-day moving average. So all this time was like, no. This is the first time it's showing momentum to the upside where we can start to anticipate some upward targets. Again, if it drops down below, let's say the lowest low here, you have to consider that it's not going up at this particular point, but right now it's still showing some strength going to the upside. It has pulled back some, so it's ready to has the ability to move up. Let's take a look at Square Block. Hasn't quite pushed through quite yet, but we'll have to continue to monitor that to see if it can get above the 50-day moving average. Right now it's below, so it's nothing we can do. Can't force it. Upstart below, it has a huge potential, but still below that 50-day moving average. We want to catch things when they start to move up. We don't want to ride it all the way down. We don't want to, keep, of course we may DCA if we happen to get in here and we kept everything, but really we should get out once it starts to fall to a certain point, and show that it's not going to go above that 50-day moving average again. We have to get out, let it drop some more, wait for that moment where you can get back in. Otherwise, you're DCAing. If you have a lot of funds, you could buy a little when it starts to show here, buy a little if it starts to show at another point. But just giving you an idea of what's out there. Let's take a look at Bros. So Bros starting to show its head a little bit, but there's not a lot of price action to really tell what's going to happen with that. Avis car rental looks like it's about to show its head above the 50-day moving average and maybe come out of the water a bit. So good one to watch. Coinbase, it shows some signs of coming above the water here, above the 50-day moving average rather here, but it did drop back down, but it is finding some support. So we'll have to watch this one a little bit. Again, we were overbought at the time that it came up, so we expect it to kind of pull back, as you see, where you potentially have pullbacks. So that's pretty much it. I will touch on Palantir. Let's take a look at Palantir. So Palantir has been showing some upward movement. So let's go ahead and mark this one. And we will just mark it. Let's mark it over here where we are. All right. So it's showing some movement above that 50-day moving average. So we have to monitor this one to make sure it doesn't drop below some of these lows here. But if it does continue to go up in the upward direction, then hey, we're looking pretty good there as well. Oh, Tesla. I definitely want to touch on Tesla. So Tesla, we saw it jump above the 50-day moving average and really out of the watermark, above the watermark, the 200-day moving average watermark that we have. And it's continuing to move up. So the idea here is we were looking at what, $600, and it bounces between $600 and $1,200 basically is what it's been doing. So our targets really would be around $1,200 if it continued to move up. So we'll have to monitor what it does with the moving average, how it moves, in order to make that determination of what happens. If Tesla comes out later in the year with a robot or something else like that, then the sky's the limit really on Tesla at that point. All right, or if they come out with the semi trucks full-fledged and some of the other technology that they've been promising. So we will see. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up there. As far as the stock market, if you're interested in any particular stock, you could leave it in the comment and I'll try to analyze it as well. But again, we're in overflow. We're looking for this overflow to come to us. It's out here. It's just putting ourselves in alignment with what's happening in the markets, not missing the opportunities that exist, understanding what the potential is in a particular investment. But again, you have to do your due diligence. You can read about these companies. You don't want to put money into a company that's going to go out of business or the financials are just horrible. But there is some momentum that's created when the overall market goes up, and that's what you have to consider as well. That some stocks are going to just move up because the whole market is going to move up.